Shall we commence? Awesome. Great. So as we discussed, we would like to move the discussion forward and talk about the birth rate. You mentioned that you do want to keep a focus on retention of employees and growing the sustainability of Ottawa. My apologies. And we think the birth leave is exactly a solution to increase the retention of employees. And right now, the state that the Canadian economy is the fact that the population is overaging. So by encouraging birth rates, increasing the birth rates and providing bursaries, we do believe that in the long term, it will not only benefit the economic forecast in the future, in the long term, and also help in the retention rate of the Gatineau, city of Gatineau. And we are proposing that they get 5 days off paid and 5 days of unpaid leave.
I took that in note also. Yeah, I'm glad that you're thinking about the economical growth of Gatineau. And I think je vais laisser la parole à Léa.
Ouais. Donc, par la suite, on aimerait ça fait déjà comme à peu près 30 minutes qu'on passe sur un point de congé. On aimerait entendre des arguments pour le prochain, qui est sur les examens. Donc, pourquoi vous voulez permettre, dans le fond, un congé pour les examens. Puis, par la suite, on aimerait ça, dans le fond, continuer pour qu'on ait vraiment le temps de voir tous les points.
So they want to talk about the leave for exams.
What about before we go with the leave for exams, I just wanted to hear your thoughts on the birth leave that we propose. Is this something that you guys are considering, or?
About that, I mean, we always have to consider our budget, and I'd like to remind you that every leave is 5%. The holidays is 15%. So with a budget of 20%, it would be supposedly like one holiday leave and one birth leave. So if at the end we can actually pass all the points and see how much money I'm going to go with that. Et après, on peut voir à chaque point combien est-ce que ça va coûter, quel pourcentage. Je pense qu'on pourrait considérer l'option de birth leave, surtout considérant qu'on a un pourcentage maximum de 20% et juste le birth leave serait à 5%.
Juste pour clarifier, dans le fond, nous avons un 15% à attitrer pour les congés sociaux. Nous avons approximativement subdivisé les trois demandes, dans le fond 5% pour chacun des congés sociaux, pour faciliter justement la compréhension, le dialogue en tant que tel, pour qu'on ait les chiffres. Donc, c'est ça, dit comme nous serions disposés à allouer un maximum de 5% par congé. Nous entendons vos demandes. C'est juste que, comme justement nous l'avons au préalable mentionné, nous avons vraiment d'autres points que nous avons vraiment à dialoguer avec vous, qui est important pour nous également. Et c'est vraiment en dialoguant de tous ces autres points avec vous que nous pourrons vraiment déterminer comme des pourcentages finaux, si ça vous convient, bien sûr.
Okay, so basically, they already allocated 15% for the days. So, and they want to discuss the rest in the allocation.
Question each leave is 5%.
Exactly, yeah.
Question,
Yeah,
okay,
okay.
then, wait a second. First of all, since since they were allocated, it's not there in the case as given, would they reconsider the allocation of budget if we show them that that's what's happening with the presentation?
This is what they have.
I'm just saying, this is the allocation they make, the formation is on top of this one. If we show that it's more profitable to shift to the budget, would they still
Yeah, they want to represent the parties for each one. For everything. Je pense que c'est oui, oui, c'est bon. Donc, on peut continuer à présenter nos priorités pour chaque point continu. Et une fois qu'on fait tout ça, on peut revenir et parler comment on va distribuer le budget. On est d'accord avec ça.
Puis je pense que ça n'a peut-être pas été clarifié au préalable, mais comme le congé justement de naissance, c'est quelque chose qui nous tient à cœur également. Et c'est pour ça que nous étions disposés à continuer par la suite avec les autres points.
Donc, juste pour clarification, donc, quand vous disiez 5% est alloqué pour chaque férié.
Grosso modo.
Pas férié,
Grosso modo.
congés sociaux.
Oui, excuse-moi, les congés sociaux. Donc, ça
Juste pour
inclut les déménagements, birth leave, puis
Ouais.
pour les examens. OK.
Fait que 5 chaque, ça fait 3.
Parfait. Donc, yeah, so exactly. Let's focus for each.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, of course, we do understand that you guys have budgetary concerns and budget constraints. That's definitely something that we are concerning as well. Of course, as you suggested, we can go over everything at the end and see what we prioritize and come to agreement there. As per the leave, to write an exam leave, I do believe this also helps in your favor of retaining employees by encouraging students to continue staying in Gatineau and working for the city of Gatineau. We not only promote the economic growth by growing our students as they are the future of the city. And ultimately, we do think this is also a valid way to promote retention and sustainability of the city.
So as you said, we're talking about students working during the summer in the city of Gatineau. And I would just like to remember in general the schedule of normal students, right? In like say high school. Usually they don't have many exams during the summer, so we feel that wouldn't beneficiate the majority of the employees. So that's why we wouldn't prioritize it as much.
Yes, no, I completely understand your concern, but what we're really trying to push is that by encouraging students to stay and offering these incentives, we do believe that these students will grow into fully professional adults and choose to stay in Gatineau, whereas if they had another option to move to a different country, not a country, a city where these kind of benefits are offered, we do believe that it might be unbeneficial for the city of Gatineau. And also, as per exam, we're not simply talking about students, we also have to consider that adults, they also have their exams. Example could be CPA, CFA, even a simple driver's license exam could also be considered. Yeah. So I just wanted to propose that we do believe that this will help in the retention problem that Gatineau is currently facing, and also ensure that the sustainability of the population is encouraged in the long term.
Taking into account that the average age of the current members of
The average age.
Considering that the average age of the employees of the working union is 27 years and 61% are women, won't you consider that it would be more important to invest into the birth leave instead of the exam?
Well, we also have to consider the fact that these women do need periods of where they have to excel in education as well. Of course, with the birth leave, these are kind of tied together. If we do incentivize birth leave, of course, they are going to take a significant time out of their lives, which would mean that they would have to prioritize their children instead of their education. And we think by offering an incentive where they have a day where they can leave to write an exam where it's paid, it can be a great benefit for them that ties well into the birth leave benefit that will be offered.
I would also like to remind that the average working hours is 11.8 for 2 weeks, so that would be about 6 hours per week. So I feel that the birth leave would be a bit more beneficial because of, if we put ourselves in the shoes of a mom or a dad, they would like to be there for the children the first days. As in comparison for the written exam, I feel that with only 6 hours per week of work, there would be a way for them to manage the time and to be able to still make it to the exam without us having to give them a leave.
Yes, I appreciate your point. This was a mistake on my part, but I just wanted to clarify by leave to write an exam, our specific policy was to give the employees an option to notify the employers 2 weeks in advance where they will be given a schedule to reschedule their work days or have the option to take 2 paid days off per month with a limit.
Right, I'm just writing that clarification.
So that would be a total of, let's be very conservative here, of 2 months. I mean, 2 days per month for a season of 4 months, because we're maximum have 4 months of contrôle durant l'été. Donc en tant que tel, ce serait pour juste 8 jours.
Je suis pas sûre de comprendre.
8 jours au total pour la saison estivale, puisque c'est des employés saisonniers.
Oui, dans le fond, mais what she's saying is that it will be 8 days. 8 journées, tu as dit?
Oui, parce que c'est 2 jours par mois.
Oui, exact. Since it's like 4 months, that would be like 8 days during the summer. Is that right?
Yeah, but no, that's a very valid concern. This policy was put in place because we wanted to limit employees' ability to kind of take advantage of the system, which is why we put a limit of 2 days per month. Of course, you have to realize that students rarely have 2 exams per month for 4 months consecutively. Another policy that we could maybe consider is that if they provide sufficient proof that they do in fact have an exam on a certain date that they specified, then they're provided with this option to either reschedule or take a paid leave.
I feel also I'm reading the unlimited option to reschedule workdays.
Could you please enlighten us?
Sure. Sure, definitely. So that ties into what I just said. In the case that they provide sufficient proof that they do have an exam on a specified date and that they give 2 weeks notice for the employer, then they will be given an option to reschedule. So let's say I have an exam on Monday, but I'm also supposed to work on Monday. Go to my employer 2 weeks before, hey, I'm supposed to work on Monday, but I have an exam. Could we maybe reschedule my shift to a Tuesday maybe, where I can accommodate my education and work at the same time?
From what I can see, I'm also seeing that for us it's important. Puis aussi pour nous c'est important la disponibilité des employés occasionnels. Je pense que c'est assez naturel aussi si quelqu'un a un examen, il ne peut pas déplacer la date, c'est hors de son contrôle. Je pense aussi qu'avec 6 heures par semaine, il y a une façon d'accommoder l'horaire pour reschedule the work days. Mais je rappelle que si on prend le 5% puis on le met dans les 2 jours par mois, pas payés, si on prend le congé, je me rephrase, si on prend le congé, on prend le 5% qui est alloué au congé et on le met pour les congés qui sont reliés à écrire un examen, on perd un 5% de maternity leave, de birth leave.
So he's saying, since they're only working for 6 hours a week, there's a way that they can organize their exam schedule. And he's saying if we put 5% in the 2 days of unemployment, for example, you have to take off from work.
Your proposition is noted. I do think that at the end we do have a leeway of reallocating budget together and finding common ground. So I propose moving on to the next subject of statutory holidays and coming back to this later when we have a more fixed allocation of the budgets.
All right.
Moving on to the statutory holidays. Well, Gatineau, as we mentioned before, lies in a very unique position. A lot of people actually falls into the city, which is in Quebec. And a lot of people actually works and commutes from Ottawa. It's actually, commute would be a very strong word since how close it is to Ottawa. It's actually more like just going to another area. So since a lot of employees actually can work from Ottawa and do work from Ottawa, they might feel that it is kind of an unfair disadvantage for them, since they have different statutory holiday and Quebec has different. Let's say I work from Ottawa. Okay, fine. Although I work in the city of Gatineau, I get the Quebec statutory holiday. When my friends and family are actually celebrating their statutory holidays in Ontario, I might feel that I have to work. I probably will have to work if my shift is there. So that is the reason we propose that any employee can actually have unpaid leave in the statutory holiday of the family and the civic one.
I'm taking note of that.
Absolutely, thank you so much.
So we're talking about people living in Ottawa, right? And
Ottawa and also like around the provinces of Ontario, but actually very in nearby proximity of Gatineau.
All right, and working in Gatineau.
I'm working in Gatineau.
Thank you for bringing that point. I would actually have a lot of things to say, but it's also because I want all of my team to be able to speak and negotiate, because I was in charge of that part as a strategy of sustainable development. I suggest that we come back after to the holidays and that we go on with the next point. Is that okay with you?
En tant que tel, qu'est-ce que mon collègue peut dire? Ce serait qu'on propose un caucus pour justement établir la suite des choses. Et puis, on s'amènerait pour un petit 5 minutes. Ça vous convient?
Sure, absolutely. Okay, cool. No worries.
I'm pretty sure that's what they said. She was saying everyone has access.
Absolutely. I was just wondering, since it's going slow, you know, like they're hearing our concerns, we're hearing our concerns, what's going to happen?
Because I think they have a very clear agenda. They want to go over every point, every decide, and then they want to decide on the budget. That's what they want.
Okay, we'll show them then how to allocate their budget and it works better for them. Because they had 5 to 15% of crime, not even needed. Like if you, or you can reallocate it very less.
Other points, so we can actually get to the
Okay, so you talk about the whole list. I'm talking about this, which is the,
You know what, so for this.
this is it.
What you say.